Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Feel your body growing heavier, more relaxed, sinking into perfect comfort. Let all tension drift away like mist across a mountain lake. You find yourself standing on a narrow path that winds through the Scottish Highlands. The morning air is cool and damp, carrying the earthy scent of heather and peat. Mist hangs low over the landscape, softening everything, turning the world into shades of grey and green and purple. The path beneath your feet is packed earth, slightly muddy from recent rain, with tufts of grass growing along its edges. As you walk, your boots make soft sounds, the squelch of damp ground, the rustle of wet grass brushing against your legs. On either side of the path, the moorland stretches endlessly. Purple heather covers the ground like a carpet, its small flowers vibrant even in the muted light. Among the heather grow patches of bright green moss, and here and there, dark peat bogs glisten with standing water. The mist shifts and swirls around you as you walk, sometimes thick enough to hide the landscape just a few meters away, sometimes thinning to reveal distant mountains, dark shapes against the gray sky, their peaks hidden in clouds. The visibility changes moment by moment, making the walk feel mysterious, like moving through a dream. You hear the cry of a bird, a curlew, its call haunting and beautiful, echoing across the moorland. The sound seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, perfectly suited to this misty landscape. Then silence returns, broken only by the soft sounds of your footsteps and the gentle drip of water from wet grass. The path climbs gradually, following the contour of a hillside. As you ascend, you notice scattered sheep grazing on the slopes. They were thick and white, some with dark faces, others completely white. They barely glance at you as you pass, too busy eating to be concerned with human visitors. Their presence adds to the peaceful atmosphere. These hills have been grazed by sheep for centuries, part of the timeless rhythm of Highland life. A small stream appears beside the path, tumbling down the hillside over rocks dark with moisture. The water is peat brown but clear, and it makes a gentle burbling sound as it flows. You pause to listen, watching the water catch what little light penetrates the mist, creating subtle sparkles in the gloom. The path leads to a stone bridge, ancient and sturdy, built to last by hands long gone. The stones are covered with lichen in shades of grey-green and orange, and moss grows in the crevices between them. You cross slowly, pausing in the middle to look down at the stream below, watching it flow under the bridge and continue its journey down the mountain. On the far side of the bridge, you notice a cluster of old stone ruins, a cottage, perhaps abandoned long ago. The walls still stand, though the roof has collapsed. Heather and ferns grow inside what were once rooms. It's a melancholy sight but somehow beautiful, nature reclaiming what humans left behind, the cycle continuing as it always has. You continue along the path, which now follows a loch, a long, narrow lake nestled between hills. The water is perfectly still, its surface like dark glass, reflecting the grey sky and the mist-shrouded hills. The shoreline is rocky, with large boulders emerging from the shallow water near the edge. A small wooden pier extends into the loch, weathered grey by years of wind and rain. You walk out onto it, feeling it solid beneath your feet despite its age. At the end, you sit down, letting your legs dangle over the water, looking out across the still surface. The silence is profound. The mist muffles all sound, creating a sense of isolation, of being alone in the world. But it's not a lonely feeling. Instead, it's peaceful, restful, like being wrapped in a soft blanket. You feel safe here, protected by the mist, held gently by the ancient landscape. Occasionally, the mist thins enough to reveal more of the loch. You see it stretches far into the distance, winding between hills, eventually disappearing into the grey. Islands dot its surface, some just large rocks, others big enough to support a few windswept trees. Everything is grey and green and brown, muted colors that somehow seem perfect, right for this place. A fish jumps near the pier, breaking the water's surface with a soft plop, creating ripples that spread outward in perfect circles. You watch the rings expand and eventually fade, leaving the surface smooth again. The sight is mesmerizing, peaceful, a small moment of life in the stillness. You rise eventually and continue along the loch shore. The path is narrower here, sometimes rocky, sometimes grassy, always winding, following the natural contours of the land. You pass clumps of gorse bushes, their yellow flowers bright against the muted landscape, their coconut scent sweet and unexpected. Ahead, you spot a building through the mist. A small stone cottage with a slate roof, white painted walls, smoke rising from its chimney. Unlike the ruins you passed earlier, this cottage is clearly inhabited, cared for, loved. A small garden surrounds it, enclosed by a low stone wall. Bright flowers grow there despite the poor weather, hardy varieties that don't mind the wind and rain. As you approach, the cottage door opens, and a woman emerges. She's perhaps 50, with grey hair and a kind face, wearing a thick sweater and waterproof trousers. She waves, calling out a greeting in an accent thick with Highland Scots, the words rolling and musical. She beckons you inside, and you gratefully accept, ducking through the low doorway into the cottage's warm interior. The contrast with the outside is immediate and wonderful. Where the world outside is cold and damp and grey, inside is warm and dry and golden with lamplight and firelight. The cottage is one room, but it's perfect. A peat fire burns in a stone fireplace, its smoke sweet and earthy. The walls are thick stone, plastered and whitewashed. Dark wooden beams cross the ceiling. The floor is flagstone, covered with colorful rag rugs. A comfortable armchair sits near the fire, upholstered in faded tartan fabric. A small table by the window holds an oil lamp and a stack of books. Shelves on the walls display blue and white china, and copper pots hang from hooks near the fireplace. Everything is tidy, cozy, welcoming. The woman gestures for you to sit in the armchair, which you do gratefully. The chair embraces you, warm from the fire, perfectly comfortable. She disappears into what must be a small kitchen area and returns moments later with a tray. On the tray, a thick ceramic mug of tea, dark and strong, with milk already added. A plate with a slice of homemade cake, something with apples and cinnamon, dense and moist. A small dish with butter and a piece of shortbread. Everything is simple but perfect, offered with Highland hospitality that expects nothing in return. You sip the tea. It's hot and sweet and exactly what you needed. The warmth spreads through you, chasing away the last of the chill from outside. The cake is delicious, the apples tender, the spices warming. The shortbread is buttery and crumbly, melting on your tongue. The woman sits in another chair on the opposite side of the fire, takes up some knitting, and begins to work, her needles clicking softly. She doesn't try to make conversation, understanding that sometimes silence is the best company. The only sounds are the crackle of the peat fire, the soft click of knitting needles, the occasional shift of settling coals. You watch the fire, mesmerized by the flames. Peat burns differently from wood, slower, with different colors, blue and orange and deep red. The smell is distinctive, earthy and sweet. The smell of the Highlands themselves, of centuries of fires burning in cottages just like this one. Through the small window, you can see the mist still swirling outside, but inside you're warm and safe and comfortable. The cottage feels like a refuge, a haven, a place outside of time. You can imagine generations of people sitting in this very chair, warming themselves by this fire, drinking tea, eating cake, finding comfort after walking through mist and rain. Time passes peacefully. You finish your tea and cake. The woman wordlessly refills your mug, adding more milk, making sure you're comfortable. You nod your thanks, and she returns to her knitting, the needles clicking their gentle rhythm. Your eyelids grow heavy. The warmth of the fire, the comfort of the chair, the peace of the cottage, all of it combines to make you drowsy. You let your eyes close, just for a moment, and drift into a light, peaceful doze. You wake gradually, unsure how long you've slept. The fire has burned lower, the light in the cottage has changed. It's later now, afternoon perhaps, though it's hard to tell with the mist. The woman is still knitting, peaceful and patient, untroubled by your sleep. You rise, reluctantly, knowing you should continue your journey. She sets aside her knitting and packs you a small bundle. More shortbread wrapped in cloth, a thermos of tea for the road. She refuses any offer of payment with a smile and a shake of her head. This is simply what's done in the Highlands. You care for travelers, you offer shelter and warmth and food, because tomorrow you might be the one walking through the mist. You thank her warmly, and she walks you to the door. As you step back outside, the mist has thickened, and the air seems even damper than before. But you feel refreshed, renewed by the rest and warmth. The path continues along the loch, climbing slightly now, heading toward a pass between two mountains. The walking is steady but not difficult, and you settle into a rhythm, your boots finding purchase on the wet ground, your breathing steady and calm. The landscape becomes more dramatic as you climb. Large boulders appear, some bigger than houses, scattered across the hillside as if thrown there by giants. Water trickles everywhere, down rocks, across the path, forming small streams that appear and disappear, all of it flowing downward toward the loch. You pass through patches where the heather grows especially thick, forming a purple sea that stretches in every direction. The heather is in full bloom, and even in the mist, the color is stunning, vibrant, and alive. Bees work among the flowers, seemingly unbothered by the damp. They're buzzing a soft accompaniment to your steps. A red deer appears on a ridge above you, a stag with impressive antlers, standing motionless, watching you. For a long moment, you both freeze, regarding each other across the misty distance. Then, with casual grace, the deer turns and disappears into the mist, becoming invisible in seconds as if it was never there. The path reaches the highest point of the pass, and here the wind picks up, cold and strong, cutting through your clothes. The mist is thickest here, visibility reduced to just a few meters. You can hear the wind whistling around rocks, hear the cry of ravens somewhere overhead, but you can see almost nothing. But then, just for a moment, the mist parts, and you catch a glimpse of the view on the other side. A vast glen stretching below, another loch winding through its center, mountains rising on all sides, their slopes striped with waterfalls, their peaks still hidden in cloud. It's a view of raw, wild beauty, unchanged for thousands of years. Then the mist closes in again, hiding everything, but the image remains in your mind. You begin the descent, carefully, following the path as it winds downward. The going is slower here, the path rocky and steep in places, but there's no hurry. You have all the time in the world. As you descend, you enter the glen you glimpsed from above. The path levels out, becoming easier, passing through more heather, more grass, alongside small streams. The glen is sheltered from the wind, and the walking becomes pleasant again, meditative. You spot another cottage in the distance, this one larger, perhaps an inn or a small hotel. Lights glow in its windows, welcoming in the gloom. As you draw closer, you can see it's built in traditional style. Stone walls, slate roof, white paint, but it's clearly designed to accommodate travelers. A wooden sign hangs above the door, the Highland Inn. Smoke rises from multiple chimneys. A small beer garden sits empty in the mist, its wooden tables and benches wet with moisture. But the building itself looks warm and inviting. You push open the heavy door and step inside. The interior is exactly what you hoped. A traditional Highland inn with a low-beamed ceiling, stone walls, a large fireplace with a peat fire burning brightly. The room is furnished with old wooden tables and chairs, a long bar along one wall lined with bottles and glasses. Several people are scattered around the room, locals by the look of them, enjoying pints of dark beer, talking quietly among themselves. They glance up as you enter, nod greetings, then return to their conversations. A border collie sleeps by the fire, its fur drying, presumably brought in by one of the shepherds. The innkeeper appears from behind the bar, a large man with a red beard and a friendly face. He greets you warmly, his accent thick but his meaning clear. He gestures to a table near the fire, brings you a menu written in chalk on a small blackboard. The offerings are simple but appealing: vegetable soup, steak and ale pie, fish and chips, local lamb stew. You choose the stew, and the innkeeper disappears into the kitchen, returning shortly with a large bowl of steaming stew. a basket of bread, and a pint of local ale without your even asking. The stew is hearty and delicious: tender lamb, potatoes, carrots, onions, all in a rich brown gravy flavored with herbs. The bread is fresh and warm, perfect for soaking up the gravy. The ale is dark and smooth, with notes of caramel and coffee. You eat slowly, savoring every bite, feeling the warmth of the food spread through you. The conversations around you continue, talk of sheep and weather and local news, all delivered in the rolling cadence of Highland speech. It's soothing even though you can't understand all the words, the rhythm and music of it adding to the peaceful atmosphere. After dinner, the innkeeper shows you to a room upstairs. The staircase is narrow and creaky, the hallway lit by small wall sconces. Your room is at the end of the hall, small but perfect, with everything you need. A single bed with a thick duvet in a tartan pattern dominates the room. A small window looks out over the glen, though right now all you can see is mist and darkness. A washstand holds a ceramic basin and pitcher. A wooden chair sits by the window. The walls are whitewashed stone. The floor is dark wood covered with a small rug. But the best feature is the small fireplace, where a peat fire has already been laid and lit. It crackles gently, filling the room with warmth and that distinctive sweet earthy smell. You open the window slightly, letting in fresh air, cold and damp but clean and pure. The smell of the moor drifts in, along with the distant sound of the stream and the occasional bleat of a sheep. You prepare for sleep slowly, washing in the cool water from the pitcher, changing into comfortable clothes. The bed calls to you, and you slip between the sheets. They're cool at first but warming quickly, slightly rough from being line-dried, smelling faintly of lavender. The duvet is heavy and warm, filled with real down, covering you with its comforting weight. The pillow is plump and soft, cradling your head perfectly. Through the window, you can see nothing but darkness and mist, but you can hear the sounds of the Highland night. The distant rush of the stream, the wind moving through heather, the occasional cry of a night bird. The fire crackles softly in the grate, its light dancing on the walls, creating moving shadows that are soothing rather than unsettling. The warmth it provides is gentle and steady, taking the chill from the air without making the room too hot. You feel utterly relaxed, utterly at peace. The day's walking has left your body pleasantly tired, and the good food has made you contentedly full. The bed is comfortable beyond measure. The room is the perfect temperature, and the sounds of the Highland night surround you like a lullaby. Your breathing slows, deepens, matching the rhythm of the wind outside, the crackle of the fire, the eternal patience of the mountains. Your eyes grow heavy, closing more than they open, and when they do open, all you see is the gentle firelight, warm and golden, hypnotic and peaceful. Images drift through your mind: misty moors, purple heather, still lochs, stone cottages, peat fires, the kind faces of Highland people. But these images are soft, dreamlike, requiring no attention, simply passing through like mist across the mountains. The inn settles around you, quiet except for the creak of old timbers, the whisper of wind, the soft footsteps of the innkeeper checking that all is well before retiring for the night. You are safe here in this Highland inn. Safe in this room. Safe in this bed. Protected by thick stone walls and warm fires and the hospitality of people who understand that travelers need rest, need warmth, need comfort. The mist continues outside, wrapping the glen in its soft embrace. The mountains stand eternal and patient around the valley. The streams flow endlessly toward the lochs. The heather covers the moors in purple beauty, and inside, you rest. Rest now in your Highland room. Rest in the warmth of peat fire. Rest in the safety of stone walls. Rest in the peace of the misty glen. Rest in the comfort of your bed. Rest in the ancient rhythm of the Highlands. Rest in perfect peace. Rest now. Rest. May your sleep be as deep as a Highland loch, and your dreams as peaceful as mist on the moors.